Tourism Minister Lindiwe Sisulu is hosting the 2022 Tourism Month launch at the Khwatu Nature Reserve on the Cape West coast. This says tourism is on the up following the devastation created by the COVID-19 pandemic.
We are to Cultural and Learning Centre on the West Coast. This is dedicated to the history and the stories and learning about the Sand People. And of course, this is the venue today for the launch of Tourism Month. We have with us the Minister of Tourism, Lindiwe Sisulu. Minister, thank you very much for giving us your time. What is your message today on tourism, on the launch of this month?
From the launch of this month, shall I start at the beginning? We are in the process of enhancing our policies, and we put out a document that we would like society to have a look at and give feedback, because we want to promote local tourism. Tourism is not about going to another country, it's about just taking a short left and whatever it is. So we're promoting community tourism because we believe that our communities are very rich in our history and can educate us about so many things. It's those who would like to have some adventure would find adventure in local communities. It also promotes local economies as well. So we came here today to show that local economies can benefit and are benefiting. And we did not know, I didn't know, that I would find this very advanced assessment of the history of mankind. I am blown up. I'm just blown. It's not just the wind outside, but also what I've discovered. Because here is a rural community that has invested in the origins of what we know as the First Nation here, and they are indicating to us how what their belief systems are, and they're sending a message that actually all of us come from this place and migrated to wherever. And then as it got colder, we got lighter and got to other places. But they are sophisticated way of understanding the evolution of society, the evolution of the world and all of those things, based on nothing scientific except perhaps their belief systems. And the young lady who was explaining it to us was indicating to us that they use their surroundings, their understanding of the world, to educate their young people. They didn't have schools like we've got schools now, but it was a very advanced way of thinking, an advanced religion, advanced culture, and we've come full circle to perhaps where we started, and it's an amazing place to be in.
So the draft legislation, what does it speak to, and what do you want people to comment on?
Well, that part, it's not the draft, it's a section of which we would like to input. It's a policy document. We want to input it into legislation. We want to promote local tourism. We want to promote this which we are seeing now. I didn't know all of this about the Sand People. I didn't know about their idea of cosmology. I didn't know about their belief systems, but now I do know, and I'm so much enriched by that. And so we don't need to go abroad to go and see whatever, when in fact we can just take a short lift and come here and learn about the most basic things that make life what it is, that make sense, that have driven people who didn't have the advantage that you and I have. They looked at the moon, were able to tell the time of the month. They looked at the sun and were able to tell the time of day long before we developed watches. So it's a very advanced society that we are experiencing today, and we are hoping that out of this, many other communities will be able to input into the document that we're putting together, the policy we're putting together, because around all of that we are promoting local tourism to benefit local societies. Because people come to South Africa and stay in 5-star hotels, and that might not necessarily trickle down to those people who actually are, who actually should be benefiting from our tourism. Tourism does benefit greatly into the GDP, but not very directly in our communities. So here we are, and anywhere else where people are watching this and they have something interesting in their locality, please to go into our website, contribute to the policy so that we can promote South Africa in its entirety, not just the cities, not just the places of leisure, but in its entirety, because we have a very rich history in South Africa, and we can use tourism to promote it.
Last question. COVID all but decimated the industry. What lessons were taken from that and might enhance the tourism industry going forward?
Well, we didn't know ourselves just how resilient tourism is until we experienced COVID. Now that we've experienced COVID and we've seen how resilient the industry is, we are building on those things that carried us through. We were not able, for instance, to fly out. There were restrictions, especially around South Africa. We just happened to have been a very unlucky country. We were red listed in most countries, so we stayed in. And we learned to use the time to look around ourselves and see what we have. And we have everything that the world has, right here, right now. But also what we learned from COVID is that there is a way in which you can live through a very difficult period. It is called the human sustainability. We are able to sustain ourselves, and we are a very resilient people, South Africans, and the industry too proved to us to be a very resilient industry. We survived COVID. And when you have COVID, you would expect that the first area that would have complete blackout would be tourism. It did. But right now, it has bounced back, and it is so much richer than it was before we had COVID.